Both these proposers have high experience in the business, and we're quite optimistic of their cooperation and their capacity to work. Both projects are close to about a million square feet, and thousands of over 1,000 of jobs will be proposed in these projects. And also the tax benefits for these projects are all in excess of, depending upon what's the final development, are all probably going to be in excess of $1 million for the town. So the committee now has to put together a final report on the recommendations to the state, and then they will review these projects and proposals and make a determination which one to accept.
As far as your timetable, as far as the use committee's report to the state and then recommendations?
We scheduling dates with the upcoming summer, getting our vacation times all set to get together, but we hope to meet together again probably within the next couple of weeks to get this going and getting the report up to the state very shortly.
I know that over the past few years, I mean, this is finally appears to be coming to fruition as far as the final disposal of the property by the state. And hopefully it'll have a substantial positive impact on our community and the tax base. But I just don't want to be left unsaid that the J.T. Berry Reuse Committee, which was originally appointed by this board a number of years ago, has spent countless hours going over proposals even before this last group. Also out there trying to solicit proposals for the property and looking out for the town's best interests, and they've done yeoman's work as far as the effort that they put in. And I know the last few months have been a flurry of activity. Mr. Murphy, who's a member to our board liaison now, has spent a lot of time over the last few weeks coming up to speed and reading through the volumes of proposals and getting up to speed on things. And much to your credit, we appreciate the effort. But this is hopefully going to come to fruition shortly, because we certainly could use the tax base enhancement that this is proposing. I'm hardened just, again, I've been on the perimeter here looking in a little bit, but I know in going through the proposals, the two that you appear to be recommending lived through the last economic downturn and survived, which is a good thing, which I think is very important for any one of the applicants as far as consideration. They have some deep pockets so they can ride out economic downturns, because one thing we don't want to see is a stop. We don't want to see the progress over there once it started stopped because the applicants can't handle it. So I think we've done a great job so far, and I hope our neighbors in Wilmington are somewhat satisfied, even though they don't want an awful lot, and it's understandable that there's so much to benefit their community. But if the traffic mitigation could be addressed, I think it's an important part of the proposal that has to be considered. So that's great. Mr. Murphy?
I'd just like to follow along in your comments. Having only been involved in it for a very short period of time, watching that group work and deliberate and bring those proposals down to just a couple, and having divergent viewpoints, at least what appeared to be divergent viewpoints to start, watching them deliver and come to a consensus of opinion and move forward with the best interest of the community. It was very satisfying, and I think the members from Wilmington as well are feeling that they have been heard and that their issues are being addressed. And I think that the treatment facility, the traffic mitigation, and the tax revenue are all sort of the top three issues, and they're all going to be balanced against each other. And they did pick the firms that can bring it to closure and get it done. And perhaps maybe the movie studio will get brought into one of these proposals. We're hopeful that they may bring that. It's been great.
Mr. Rock, are we going to be, as a selectman, are we going to be presented with a written recommendation from the J.T. Berry Committee to go to the state?
The J.T. Berry Reuse Committee is actually appointed by at the state level. Again, those are the members basically that we have put in place, and the town administrator through legislation, recommended to whoever the appropriate authority is there. You can explain it better than I. So it's actually a state board to make the recommendation.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, are we going to be told, in other words, are they going to come in and say, here's our recommendation to the state that this particular entity meets?
Yeah, you're being told tonight verbally that they've narrowed it down to 2, and they're going to submit the 2 proposals up for the state to consider. Now, there were 8 applicants.
What I'm saying, are they going to recommend one over the other?
No.
They're just going to recommend the 2, and the state can pick whichever one. We don't have,
So they can pick anyone they want, but
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, we
Go
don't,
with the recommendations.
what I'm saying is that we're not going to, are we going to say we'd like to have A,
or B. We're going to say A or B. We're giving
but
them 2.
are we taking a priority on A, and then if not, at least B?
Well, but
Mr. Younger.
The Gutierrez was the recommended first choice in there, but they also have an alternative in there if for some particular reason Gutierrez and the state cannot come to an agreement on the acquisition. So we do have our first choice, which is Gutierrez, and then the second choice is Duffy. You're setting those up, but obviously the state can, choose who they want to choose. This project, all we are is a recommending body. That's our only.
Right, I understand that, but I was wondering if in fact, as the Board of Selectmen, that we're going to, reinforce the recommendation of the J.T. Berry.
We could certainly do that.
we could do that this evening.
We could do that this evening by
Well, that's what,
Exactly,
yes,
the
I just wanted to know also, though, are we going to see who they are? Are we going to,
More than happy to give a copy of the report when we complete it.
we do the pros and cons, but I mean, I for one, am not going to sit here and second guess the J.T. Berry committee.
I'm not
at
either,
this
but
stage
I
of
think the
game.
point is, I'd like to see who they're recommending. At this point, you're right, I agree. Whoever they're recommending,
What
I
they had-
support that. And my point is that as the Board of Selectmen, would it be in our best interest to, in fact, send a letter along strongly supporting that recommendation of the board?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. Or I said, I think it would be an excellent idea. But as far as, and again, I don't know what forum you want to have the update as to the 2, but I mean, there was the public meetings, it was on cable TV, so I tuned in and watched it, so I'm pretty familiar with the proposals. And so the 2 that they whittled it down to, I'm quite pleased with, based upon the information that I gleaned from either going to public hearing or watching it on television, or even reading about it in the newspaper. So, if you want some more information, the town administrator would be happy to share it.
I'd just like to see the 2 proposals that they're recommending, but I would also like to have the board,
Do you have a summary of the proposals?
There's basically, some of it right now I cannot speak publicly, but we've got
Okay.
financials and such. But as I stated, both the properties are about between about 900,000 and 1 million square feet of office space. Tax benefits, depending upon if they do full completion or not, those projects will be both excess of $1 million. They both propose sewage treatment facilities on site. Obviously the buildings, number of buildings on the site will be up to site plan review and so forth, but the different sizes, 4 and 7 buildings. So,
When you get the report together, as far as the 2, if there is a summary, of the 2 leading proposals that you could share, that'd be great.
but I would also, I know the time, I'm not sure the time, but I'd like to see the board have a letter to go along to
Right.
reinforce the
Absolutely.
recommendation.
As soon as the final recommendation is made and in writing, I think it would be appropriate for the board to go on record. Follow along, let it go along,
Right.
absolutely. Is there any other questions or comments related to the update on the J.T. Berry? Old or new business? Mr. Rowe. Oh, excuse me, you want to do old new business or go to town administrator's report? Why don't we do town administrator's report, then old and new business, okay, Tom?
Okay,
I'd like
thank
to take you first.
you, Mr. Chairman. We already addressed the Mass Maritimes issue earlier this evening. Also, we still have a vacancy in the North Reading Housing Authority. the board, and if anyone is still interested in applying, it's a joint appointment between the board and the Housing Authority. Please submit an application to my office's attention, so I appreciate that coming in. And I think that's it. It's a berry update, and that's it.
That was good, okay. All the new business, Mr. Rowe.
Are we going to discuss tonight the recommendations of the board and as far as, can't think of the word I'm going to say. Goals for the board and so on and so forth, is that?
Well, it was good. I haven't received the copies of goals and objectives from all members of the board as of yet. So we'll probably schedule for the 2nd of July. For those members that haven't got it in, just get it into myself or the town administrator.
Oh, I didn't realize you wanted them submitted. I thought.
Yes, we're going to submit. Everybody submit them, and then we'll combine them all, similar ones, and share them. Okay?
The only question I have then is, I talked to Mr. Younger earlier. Did you find out anything on the traffic on Chestnut and Blue Street?
I spoke to Chief Cornell about that, and he was looking into that matter regarding any traffic counts and such on that, so I can speak with him.
We don't have anything.
Nothing in the past couple of days, but we'll follow up on that though.
Just like new. So was that?
Yeah, I had a few complaints on the heavy traffic. It seems to, particularly the trucking, residents in the area seem to think there's been an awful, the last couple of months, an increase in the truck traffic. I'm not sure if there is, or I've heard some reasons behind it. Possibly the trucks use that to avoid more policed areas. So I don't know if there's anything to it or not, but
Yes?
one other question, and I'll ask through the chairman. Is there anything else coming up tonight that I don't know about due to the increase in the audience?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We tend to generate a lot of interest. Mr. Muldoon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to mention about Saturday is field day at the Little League field. Don't forget that. It's a big event, and Phil Dardino and the group there have done a great job over the last year, and they certainly serve the community well and deserve commendation for that.
They serve over almost 900 kids in that Little League program now, and also, can't go without saying tonight either, but the Outback Steakhouse has been terrific over the last few years in helping support that particular field day activity, the donation of food and products. It really is a great time for the kids, a nice way to end the season and begin the summer.
I wasn't going to say actually anything else, except I would feel remiss if I didn't mention that with this. We have a number of police and firefighters here tonight, and I just wanted to say to you that I've been working for the state for 21 years, and over that 21 years I've had situations where we had contracts that were very good and they ran for years and we were all in good shape, and I've had years where contracts ran out and we went several years without being resolved. And I know it's a frustrating situation for you guys. You've been in this for a couple of years, trying to work it out, and it needs to be worked out, and it will be worked out. I just want to say, and I hope, and I'm sure that the board agrees with me and Mr. Younger in every way, what I'm going to say here. All of you firefighters, when you go into the engines, and police officers, when you go into the cruisers, you put your lives on the line every single day you do it. And we do appreciate that. And I just want you to know that. And this will be worked out. I don't want you, I know it's frustrating, it's gone on a long time, but we're trying to do our best, and I'm sure the board and everyone will get this resolved.